Hey y'all, good morning. It is Michelle. Hulk It Up Yoga with Michelle. I did that this morning with my regular students who are spread all over the country, which is fun. And then I pulled some cards after, and I'm not going to do the live pulls right now. And the reason for that is I have my 3 decks that I've had forever that I work with. The first one that I always pull is from the Trust Your Vibes. Yep. And I pull this one to just figure out what the vibe for the day or the weekend or whatever is supposed to be. And then I always ask which goddesses are coming in. So we're going to pull from the Journey of the Goddess Realm. 2 of the goddesses that I almost always get showed up this morning. So y'all will be excited about that. Then I use my Gilded Tarot to find out what our ancestors want to know. So those are the 3 decks that I've had forever. And I can pull from those and explain to you what you need to know. Super easy, super fast, super quick. I need to undo my hair because I'm starting to get a headache. Here's the cool part. If you guys want a reading from me, you can tell me which deck you want me to use. Now I'm going to show you my 5 new decks. Oh, Lord, I look like a bog witch. Okay, so after I pull my first 3 OG decks, then I pull from the Soul's Journey. This is a really good deck. It's really simple, really easy to read. You just have to read the cards, really. And I use this to find out what lesson my soul needs to learn for this particular day or weekend or whatever time frame I'm using. And I love this deck. It's really beautiful. It's really colorful. And of course, now it's not going to want to open. But I'll just show you a couple of the cards. Of course, the death card is on the bottom. And we all know death is just a transformation. But they're all mandalas. And they're all really pretty. And as you can see, they have at the bottom, they have a mantra that goes with that mandala. I'm not sure if I said that right, but oh well. What are they going to do? Kill me and eat me? So that's what our soul lesson is going to be for the weekend. The next one I pull, I use for the subconscious. And I understand that a lot of people aren't necessarily aware of the 3 parts of your being, right? Your subconscious really is what blocks you, what your internal programming is, and that internal programming is everything that was downloaded into you by your parents, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, society, and everything else before the age of 6 or 7. So it becomes unconscious programming. And so sometimes you need to reach into your subconscious and find out what needs to come through with that. And for that, we use the Psychic Tarot. And again, this is a really pretty deck. I'm really beginning to get into it. It doesn't really have suits as much as it has border colors. So you've got green, indigo, violet, and red, and each one represents spirit, thought, things like that. And then all of our major arcana cards are rimmed in black. This is not a traditional tarot deck, but you do have the correspondences that show up. So as you work through it, you'll find out which major arcana cards correspond with the traditional Marseillan decks. So we got that. And then I like to talk to my witch self as well, which sounds really crazy. And for that one, I have fallen in love with this one. This is called Dreams of Gaia. It's a very complex deck. It's beautifully illustrated, and I'm really, really connecting with it on a really good level. But it does take a lot of thought and a lot of meditation to get these cards to talk to you to begin with. But we have an earth card. So these are elemental cards. You've got earth, air, fire, and water. And they have all the symbols on them, of course. And they are colored according to the family or the elemental family that they're from. The major arcana cards, again, it's not the traditional full high priestess hierophant type things, but you do figure out which cards correspond. So I use that for my witch self because that is just, yo, bish, this is what you're going to be doing this weekend. It's witchy. So I also have a divination box. So if you're hearing me dropping stuff, I'm just putting them back where they belong in the divination box. So then I always want to know which crystals. I'm like a magpie, so I like to collect crystals. Yeah. Some of you do that. Some of you don't. And it's totally okay. It doesn't bother me in the least. But to find out which crystal energy is going to be present, I use the Species by the 1000 deck. And that came with my Goddess Provision box, my very first one, Sacred Rituals. And of course, you know, it's just really simple to read. It'll tell you which crystal and what it represents. So, you know, we've got rose quartz, and we've got some that I had never heard of before. And now I want to find them and add them because magpie, yeah, or crow. I actually have a murder of crows that live in my neighborhood, mostly around my house because, you know. And then the last card that I drew is from the Sacred Self-Care Oracle deck. And this is, I started working with this simply because, like, the only self-care that I knew about was taking a walk, doing yoga, and soaking in a bathtub. But this has all different kinds. Like this bottom one we have here is rest, right? Pretty self-explanatory. There's even one in here that tells you how, you know, hey, you might need to have an orgasm. Go get laid. Connecting with your ancestors, getting a massage, building an altar, things like that. And they also have journal prompts that go with this. My hair is crazy today, and I love it. My hair is always crazy. It's whatever. It's my trademark. All right. So I also took notes, especially with the 5 new decks that I'm learning. So not super duper spontaneous, but we're just going to get into it. So the vibe card for this weekend, right? Have your coffee, take a deep breath, watching the sun come up because I am an early bird. And that goes back to me being in the Army. But the card that popped up for our weekend vibes is to be flexible. And this isn't just in your body. Obviously, I teach yoga. Everybody needs to be physically flexible. But you also have to be emotionally, mentally, and intellectually flexible. So if you're just dead set on having this one opinion, you need to be flexible enough to understand that other people are not going to think like you, right? And you may get some new information if you remain flexible. It could also be that you need to fold forward and touch your freaking toes. Super simple. But just remember, be flexible this weekend. Try to learn something new. Go someplace new. Talk to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Be flexible. So then I pulled the goddess cards, and this is where it started to get weird. In the journey to the goddess realm, you have these confirmation cards, right? And there's 3 of them, and they rarely come up for me. Very rarely come up for me. If a confirmation card is going to come up, the one that's going to come up is always going to be Revelation, and it's a confirmation 3. These 4 feathers right here represent the 4 corners of the universe. And the fact that they're suspended tells you that you do have that support from the universe. Okay, that's a confirmation. Now, this came up first, which means the goddess that follows after it is the one that's being confirmed. So the goddess that came up after that is an ancient Minoan goddess named Ariadne. She's a snake goddess. She comes up at least twice a week in my readings. And the reason that she comes up is simply because I have snake magic. I've talked with Rogue in Tokes and Tarot, and she did a reading for me, and the very first time she ever saw me, she was like, whoa, so much snake around you. To the point where I have a nest of snakes that live under my house. Anyway, so Ariadne holds these 2 snakes, and these 2 snakes are illusion and reality. And you notice she's holding them apart, okay? Because your reality is separate from the illusion that you're living in, okay? She also leads us through the darkness of our labyrinth back into the light, okay? And by doing that, or how she does that is she does that using signs and omens. So you really need to start paying attention to synchronistic events. You need to start paying attention to if you're thinking something and all of a sudden it appears, or you're thinking about somebody and they all of a sudden call or text. This is Ariadne speaking to you, okay? She's here to help us journey through the matrix of this incarnation on Earth. She's doing it with signs and omens. So pay really close attention because you're going to be getting a whole lot of signs and omens this weekend. Whether it's pertaining to a relationship, a new job, a career change, whatever. Pay attention. And then another goddess came out. This is another goddess that shows up for me quite frequently. She is the Baba Yaga. And she shows up for me simply because I'm a crone. I had my croning a year ago this past May. And so she works with crones. And she represents fearlessness, okay? And she's come in right now to tell us to take the bull by the horns. You know, don't be scared. If you want to do something, just fucking do it. Be like Nike. Just fucking do it. But you need to be fearless. You need to be bold and blunt. And you can't take offense when somebody says something to you about what you're doing. Like, you just can't do it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that's a reflection on them. That is not a reflection on you. So if you're doing something, like for me right now, I'm writing a high-end yoga program about chakra yoga, clearing your chakras, getting that energy, that kundalini flowing through you again. And I have told a couple of people what the price is going to be. And they've told me that that's too much. But no, that's not too much because I know how I teach. I know I get results. So that reaction to my price is their issue. So you have to remember, the Baba Yaga is telling you this weekend to be fearless, and Ariadne is giving you the signs and the omens that it's okay. But here, the Baba Yaga is telling you, don't take offense if somebody says, oh, that's too much. Oh, that's stupid. You shouldn't do that. No. Fuck them. Listen to the Baba Yaga and look for Ariadne. Now, ancestors. Normally when I pull these ancestor cards, right, from my Gilded Tarot, I only get one or two. This time I got 3, and they are all major arcana. The first one that came up was the Wheel of Fortune, right? Isn't that pretty? Yeah. So this Wheel of Fortune right here, we're starting a new cycle of whatever, you know. We're still in the pandemic. We're still dealing with COVID. It's still a pain in the ass. But something's about to change. So we're starting a new cycle, starting a new chapter in our lives. We're going to have a change of fortune here. That's really what the Wheel of Fortune is. It goes around and it comes back. It goes around and it comes back, right? Nothing ever stays the same. It never will. The only constant in life is change. So that's the wheel. That's this Wheel of Fortune. The next one that came up was the Hermit. Y'all, it is time for us to go inward and figure our own shit out, okay? The Hermit came in to tell us that we need to start listening to our inner wisdom. We need to go within. We need to listen to our subconscious, our witch self, whatever you want to call it, right? Ancestors, whatever you want to call it. Inside you, you have the knowledge and the answers that you're looking for. You're not going to find them with your husband. You're not going to find them with the kids. You're not going to find it on Fox News or CNN or anything else. You need to withdraw, become a hermit for a little bit, and the answers are going to come to you. Now, this is an important card, and you're going to see why in a little bit. But the third arcana card that came up from my ancestors is the Fool. Okay? We have an unexpected opportunity coming our way. If you've been paying attention to Ariadne and you have the signs and omens, it may not be 100% unexpected. But there is an unexpected opportunity coming for somebody, and you're going to have to make a choice, babe. Are you going to stay on the road that you're on right now? Or are you going to take a chance and go down another road? Like, what are you going to do? Again, we got Ariadne sending you some signs and omens about it. And then we've got the Baba Yaga telling you, bitch, don't be scared. Just do it, right? Just do it. Make that choice. Be open. We're going to be flexible, right? We're going to look for Ariadne. We're going to take the Baba Yaga's advice, and we're going to make that choice. Now comes the fun part. Y'all are going to be like, what the hell? And y'all can call me names if you want to, because I'm thick-skinned. I don't take offense to anything. Deep breath. Because now we're coming to our soul cards. And again, normally I only get one. Today I got 3. I told y'all this was crazy. There's a whole lot of shit going on right now. Okay. The first one that came up was imagination. Okay. I think with the pandemic and the lockdown and everybody worrying about money and how am I going to pay my bills and oh my God, how am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to feed myself? How am I going to get my dog's prescription medication? All this other stuff. We have dampened our imagination. And it's very important that we use our imagination, right? To figure that stuff out, because there's always a way. There's always a way. You just have to go inside to find the answers. And then you have to make that choice. And a lot of times we find those answers through our imagination, okay? And the mantra for imagination is, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. That tells us our inner wisdom. I'm going to keep flashing this card, y'all. The next one that came up was guilt. Somebody's feeling guilty about something, okay? And this has so many garish colors in it, and I love it, right? Because my favorite color is obnoxious. But guilt is such a big thing because a lot of us have lost our jobs. I've not been able to teach an in-person yoga class since March 23rd. It's 5 months. I'm losing my mind. I felt really, really guilty because that was a big chunk of my income. But I had to figure out ways to get my bills paid. And I did, because I went inside, I looked for Ariadne, and I listened to the Baba Yaga when she said to be fearless, go do it. So guilt is plaguing somebody. You're still feeling guilty over a circumstance that you can't control. And that's really unfortunate because we really can't control anything that's going on right now. But the mantra for guilt is, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. So if you were very caught up in your career, and you allowed your career to define you, and then all of a sudden quarantine, COVID, lockdown happened, and you lost your job, then you lost a huge part of your identity, and you could be feeling guilty because you don't have that job anymore. So you just need to take a deep breath, become a hermit, pay attention to Ariadne, listen to the Baba Yaga, and let go of that guilt. And you can do that this weekend. Pretty easy. Not easy. It depends on how much you really want to let go of that guilt. The last soul card that came up was this one, and it's freedom. Okay. Every card here has led up to this card, but we're not done because we've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 more decks to go. But this is a very important card. Go inside. Make the choice. Anticipate a new opportunity. Be flexible. Be fearless. Pay attention to the signs. And everything will be revealed. You will be free. The mantra for freedom is, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Again, unexpected opportunity and a choice. And we're going to be fearless, right? And we're going to look for the signs. There are always signs everywhere. Another deep breath, because now We're moving into our subconscious. What is it that our subconscious is wanting us to know? And again, 3 cards. 3 cards. The number 3 features prominently in this, although quite frankly, we haven't encountered any minor arcana cards. Have you noticed? This is the first minor arcana card that we have from the Soul's Journey. The Psychic Tarot. And it's mental conflict. Okay, mental conflict. You just need to move forward, right? And right now, you are experiencing, somebody in our little collective here is experiencing difficulty moving forward. Experiencing difficulty making a choice. Experiencing the difficulty of being fearless. Not listening to our inner wisdom. But you have this mental conflict, right? And there's a lot of self-doubt that emerges with this. You're going to beat yourself up. You're going to second guess yourself because you're not listening to that inner wisdom. Remember, I told you the Hermit card was going to be pretty important, right? So you're not listening to your inner wisdom. You're going to have to make a choice to move forward with a project. You're going to have to make a choice to speak to somebody who's giving you some issues, something like that. So this mental conflict card is pretty important, and we all deal with it. The difference is how you're choosing to deal with it, okay? Personally, if I can't solve the problem, then I'm not going to worry about it. If I have an answer, I'm not going to worry about it. It's just going to come through. So I don't experience that mental conflict much anymore. Does it pop up? Yes, absolutely. But this is somebody in our collective who is having issues moving forward. They're having trouble moving forward because they're having trouble making that decision and trusting their own intuition. That's where that card comes up. So then the next card, the next 2 cards are both major arcana, okay? Again, super important reading. If this is resonating with you, let me know. You know, you can say, yo, bish, what you're doing, whatever. But the next card that came up was the major arcana card of solitude, okay? Guess what? Your answers are not outside of you. This card from the Psychic Tarot represents the Hermit. Okay? We have 2 Hermit cards in this reading. Somebody, maybe all of us, needs to go deep inside to find those answers. Okay? Nothing outside. You need to withdraw from all the bullshit that's going on around outside, because it's not even your bullshit. Like, this mental conflict is going on in your head, but it's not your bullshit. You're allowing somebody to live rent-free in your head, and you need to make the choice to get rid of them. Okay? Again, that's being fearless. That's, just keep looking for the signs, and you'll know what it is that you need to let go of. But you need to go inside. A week from Monday, for Mabon, I am going out to the woods by myself. I'm literally going to be a hermit for 4 days. And that's what I need to do. If you have the ability to get out of your house and go out to a battlefield or the woods or a waterfall or the beach or whatever, go by yourself, sit by yourself, and listen to your inner wisdom. The third card that came up from my subconscious is balance. There's a lot of us who are out of balance right now. This represents the need for balance between your outer self and your inner self. So that bullshit that's been started that isn't yours, that's giving you the mental conflict, blocking you from moving forward, blocking you from seeing the signs, keeping you from being fearless, needs to be balanced. You can't have light without the dark. You can't have happy without the joy. You can't have rainbows without rain, right? What did I write down here? Whatever is going on outside that you've created a lot of times is just a representation of the imbalance that's going on inside. So again, we're going to be hermits. We're going to look for opportunities through the signs. We're going to be fearless, and we're going to make that choice. Okay? All of these cards are always interrelated like that. And it's actually pretty cool because I'm working with so many different decks. But they still come up, and they're all interrelated, and they all tell a story. So far, the story has been, we need to go inside, listen to our inner wisdom, and pay attention. We need to make the choices to take a deep breath, right? Deepest breath of the day. In that little tiny space, in that breath, will give you the opportunity to respond, not react. There's a difference between the two, and it's really kind of crazy. Then we come to our witch self. This one, we had one minor arcana, but he's a king. So he's a court card. So he's pretty important. And we have a maiden. However, they were both reversed. This Dreams of Gaia Tarot is made to be read upright or reversed. Both of these cards came out reversed. Okay. The first one that came out is the maiden. And what she's asking us to do this weekend is to get real and look at our dreams and our aspirations, right? So are we dreaming that out of the goodness of our heart? Is it going to help other people? Or are we being really self-centered? Do we want to improve ourselves? Like genuinely improve ourselves? Do we really, really, really want to go? Let me hold them up here. Do we really want to go inside and confront those signs and omens that we're not on the right path? Do we really want to do that? She's asking, get real with yourself. Do you want to be a better person or not? If you want to better yourself, are you doing it from your heart? Or do you just want to have your way and you don't care about how other people react or how it affects other people? Because we're all interconnected. So become a hermit and start listening and start asking those difficult questions of yourself, right? Because that's the only way you're going to get to be a better person. So then the next card that came up, that was also reversed, is the King of Fire. Okay? This speaks to the consequences of our arrogance. If you tell the maiden that you want to have your own way, you need to be prepared for the consequences of your own arrogance. Those consequences could be aggression, somebody with an explosive temper, right? Or even you having an explosive temper. You might need to keep your temper in check. But you need to understand that if you're chasing those dreams from the center of your heart, you need to keep your ego in check too. This card right here is all about ego and aggression and arrogance and self-centeredness. So you now have the choice to be coming from a good place in your heart to make yourself a better person, or you can be really arrogant about it. But if you're going to be arrogant about it, just be prepared for some aggression and some explosiveness coming your way. Because if you're going to walk all over other people, that's what you're going to get. This is just a warning. Almost there, y'all. So, again, the number 3 shows up for our crystals. The first one that came up was sunstone, right? So you're going to carry sunstone, or you're going to feel the sunstone energy if you're in a leadership position, or if you're wanting to be in a leadership position, right? So we got sunstone, really nice stone. The next one we got, somebody's in a transition. We're all transitioning, right? We're transitioning into fall. We're transitioning into new seasons in our lives, transitioning into new jobs, out of old jobs, and whatever we've got going on. And to support that, we've got rutilated quartz. I don't have one of these in my collection. I need to get one. The last one that came up, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, it was one of these. So we got the freedom card, right? Eye of Light to support freedom. 2 freedom cards. This is an important fucking weekend for us, guys. Lots of choices to be made. And then our self-care cards, we only got 2, okay? And you can take it for what it's worth. But we all do need to take care of ourselves. And it's not selfish. It's not greedy or anything like that. Because here's the thing. If your well is dry, ain't nobody getting anything out of it, right? So you need to make sure that your well is full, and then you feed other people from the overflow. How you like that, right? Mm-hmm. I have a friend who is in her late 90s who told me I can't pour from an empty pitcher. Same thing with the well. That's why we need to take care of ourselves. The first card that came up with our self-care is a beauty ritual. Guys, even you have a beauty ritual, right? We all like to feel pretty. It's, doing your nails, washing your hair, getting your hair done. Today I need to do a deep conditioning treatment on my hair. Get your toenails done, whatever. Do, face mask, whatever. But the journal prompt for this one, and I wrote it down, is what can you do to make your daily beauty rituals feel more sacred? How can you bring more magic into your daily beauty rituals? Okay. And I'm guilty of not being able to do that. Like, if you understand astrology, I'm a Taurus sun, a Leo rising, and a Capricorn moon. If you need somebody who is going to work themselves to death, that is me. So beauty rituals are really hard for me to maintain. So this card came up, and I'm sure there are some of us that have that same issue. So you need to figure out what you can do to make your daily face washing, hair washing, shaving, body washing feel more magical to you. Okay? And then finally, the last card of this very intense reading is telling us to connect with fire. Okay? You can do a fireball ritual. If, like me, you have a fireplace, I'm probably not going to start a fire in my hearth today, simply because I live in Tennessee and it's freaking hot, and I'm just not going to build a fire to make my house even hotter. I do have my eternal flame lit downstairs on my altar, and I try to remember to do that as often as I can. I have one of my sons is currently serving in the army over in Kuwait, so I like to remind the ancestors to keep an eye on him, even though he hates it, right? So connect with fire. Light a candle. A white candle is always a good way to go. You can light a purple one if you feel like you need to be healed somewhere. You can do a firebolt ritual. We're coming up on the new moon pretty quickly. So if there's something that you need to, or that you want to build, because here's the thing about the lunar phases, right? If you're wanting to diminish something, you conduct the ritual on the full moon, and then as it's waning, whatever it is what you're going to do is going to diminish, whatever it is that you're choosing. For the new moon, that's when you want to build something, because the moon is building back up to full, right? So we have a new moon coming. What do you want to build? You can write that down on a piece of paper, and you can put it under a white candle, purple candle, green candle, gold candle. I don't care. Put it under a candle, light that candle. The intention that you wrote down will escape in the smoke from the candle. If you're feeling really froggy and you've got a bowl that's fireproof, you can do that same thing. You can write it down on a piece of paper, and then you put that paper in that fire bowl. And then you can scatter the ashes if you want to. You can keep the ashes until after the new moon. You do you. Magic is you. Don't let me tell you how to perform a ritual, because y'all haven't seen me cleansing a house. Yeah, I freak out a lot of people. But this weekend is a good weekend to connect with fire. If you're someplace where it's getting cool, have a bonfire. How much fun would that be? Build a fire in your hearth. Just connect with fire. For me, today I'm connecting with fire because it's my night to cook, and I have a gas stove. So there you have it, right? So much energy, so many choices needing to be made. So many opportunities coming our way. I think it's all going to be really, really fun. It's going to be great. You just have to keep your eyes open and check in with yourself. If an opportunity presents itself, check in with yourself. See if it feels good in your gut. If your gut's telling you no, then you need to take that very, very first reaction and say, no, this isn't for me. So That's going to be our weekend, guys. It's going to be transformation. We're going to make ourselves gorgeous. Even you, Tim, going to be gorgeous. We're going to be really patient. We're going to become hermits. We're going to start to listen to our inner intuition because it's rarely going to guide you wrong. The times that I have been steered absolutely wrong really are the times that I have not paid attention to my intuition. And I got that gut reaction and I just blew it off. So let me know if any of this resonated with you. If you've got any other questions, if you have a question about the vibes, the goddesses, the ancestors, your soul, your subconscious, your witch, your crystals, your self-care, or whatever, drop me a comment below and I'll pull a card for a clarification for you. If you want to go really, really deep with me, you can always book a private reading with me and we'll figure out which deck we need to use. And we will go from there. If you'd like to tip, I do have Venmo. It is WitchofTheta, capital W, capital T. If you have Cash App, it's $, same thing, WitchofTheta. And I appreciate it if you tip me. And if you don't, I'm not going to hate you. So we're going to go out. We are going to be fearless. We're going to look for the signs. We're going to be flexible. We're going to use our imagination and we're going to experience some freedom that we haven't had in a while, guys. I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.